Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the landscape. And just making sure the microphone is actually working. Yes, it is. Welcome to a beautiful, still, calm morning next to a beautiful lake, which is also very calm and very still. So my medium format film camera has come out to play this morning. I've got 8 frames left on the film. I wouldn't say I'm burning to use them up, but I want to get to grips a bit more with using a spot meter. And I think the only way to do it is to commit to film. Now, I am cheating. So I do have my spot meter. I have it right here. But what I've also brought with me is a digital camera and a lens. What that enables me to do is take a reading, come up with a number, and then actually double check that number using the digital camera. So because it's quite early in the morning, I'm going to meter the shadows, probably the opposite side of the lake. So let me do that now while I think about it, otherwise I'll forget. Right, and that gives me at f8, which is what my camera is set to, that gives me a 2-second exposure. So can I do a 2-second exposure on this camera? I think I can. Yes, I can. Oh, I can do up to 8 seconds. Oh, that's cool. Right. Okay, so that's metering for the visible shady bits. And that was 2 seconds. So I want to brighten the shadows up. I've forgotten my cheat sheet, which is stupid of me, but I have. So I think 2 seconds is going to be enough. Because 2 seconds will render those shady areas very, very dark. So the shutter needs to be open for longer. So if I overexpose by 1 stop, that's not 2 seconds, that's 4 seconds. Well, the meter's actually telling me f11, not really f8. f8, 1 second, maybe 2. I might have to bracket, I might have to do 1 second, 2 seconds, and 4 seconds. Then I'm hedging my bets, and I'll get through the film. But let's just compare it for a moment with the digital. So I'm going to frame up with the digital more or less the same scene. ISO 200, f8. Now, interestingly, that is telling me, as near as makes no odds, a second. Oh, that's interesting. And this was my experience actually when I first used the spot meter. I think it was on a tree, and I metered the shady bit of a tree. It wasn't deep shade, it was just normal shade. And it came out, well, certainly the digital version came out okay. Right, so let's do this then. So I'm all framed up, I'm all focused. So let's do a series of frames. Right, so this is frame number 8. Kodak Gold 200. I'm not level anymore. I am now at 1 second. No filters. And the lens is at f8. Oh my God. Right, so we'll wind it on. And I'm going to be reasonably quick about it because of course light levels are coming up. So this is now frame 8, increasing it by a stop to 2 seconds. And then frame, oh sorry, that was frame 9. So I've done 8 and 9, I'm now on 10, sorry. And I'm going to do that at 4 seconds. So I'm hedging my bets. Done. I'll show you the composition quickly. Right, so forgive wobbly cam. That is my composition. No filters, no playing. Excellent. So I've changed position now. Now looking down this wooden structure, or wooden and concrete structure, and hopefully you can actually see a bit more about what I was metering. So what I'm metering is that shady shadow detail right on the opposite side of the lake, because it's the darkest bit of the scene. So let me do that now. I don't need my glasses on for that, do I? What f-stop am I at? F8. So for F8, meter is recommending 0.2 of a second, which I think this can do. Yes, right. But again, because I'm metering for the darkest part of the scene, which this is going to see as a middle grey, and there is a possibility that that is actually middle grey, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hedge my bets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go either side. So I'm going to start with 1/4 of a second, 0.2 of a second, or is that half a second? Yes, it is half a second, sorry. 0.2 of a second, what am I talking about? So the meter recommends half a second, so I'm going to do 1/4, half, 1 second. And then I'm hedging my bets either way, and I can make that decision when I get home and I get the film scanned and so on and so forth. Now, so let's get on with it, because light levels are changing. And let's do that again, just check it. Yep, it's still doing the same. So we are on frame number 11. I put it down to the fact it was dark. So frame 11, 1/4 of a second at f8, and I'm at 55mm on this lens. Here we go. Oh, just love that sound. Frame 13 is going to be half a second, which is what the meter says. Everything else the same. And then frame 13, 1 second. Lovely. Right, 2 frames to go. And just to fill you in on the blanks, so when I pointed the digital camera at this scene, the digital camera said half a second, as near as makes no odds, which is quite cool. And I've been quite lucky today, because I think the sky is in very even brightness to everything else, so I'm not having to use grads or filters or anything like that. I can just shoot the scene straight. And of course, having the digital camera has enabled me to check that, make sure that I'm not blowing out the sky completely. So there is a bit of me that is thinking, whilst I'm on this learning curve, having my medium format camera and the spot meter and a digital camera is probably a good idea. And it's a good idea because it allows me to validate what I'm doing and the decisions, excuse me, that I'm making. I know some of you will say, ah, well, that's cheating. And I mean, to some extent, you're right, it is cheating. But, and I think I've said this before, the cost of the film and the cost of the processing, it's around about £1.50 a frame. I don't want to shoot 15 frames of rubbish. I'd prefer to shoot a certain number of frames where when I get the film processed and it comes back, I'm like, oh, yes. And there will be some that will be lessons, but they'll be useful lessons. They won't be complete foul ups. And I guess that's where I'm using the digital camera. I'm using the digital camera to help me to learn both here and when I get the film home and I get it processed and scanned and so on and so forth. So thank you for coming on this medium format film journey with me. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I really am. It's a laugh, it's fun, and I think I've said this before, I love that anticipation of sending the film away and what's the results going to be like. It's brilliant, absolutely love it. Right, I'm rambling. I'm going to disappear and leave you guys in peace. Thank you for watching. If you like landscape photography, digital or film, then please consider becoming a subscriber if you're not already. And if you click the bell icon alongside, then the subscribe button, then you'll get notified as to when I upload new content. If you've enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like on YouTube. It helps this video and it also helps my channel with regard to exposure. So until we're back out in the landscape again, everybody stay well, stay safe and look after each other. Bye for now. What a cracking scene. What a scene.